I think it's highly underrated in negotiations to show genuine concern for the other party's interests. This means you bring something to the table that they haven't considered that actually benefits them, even if it doesn't benefit you. Maybe it's neutral to you. But by benefiting them, now they have more leeway to negotiate some of the things that you want, right? And the more you do this, the more it builds trust with them, and they begin to realize that you see them as a partner, not as an adversary. And in negotiation, it really is a partnership, not an adversarial relationship. A lot of people think of negotiation as zero sum, but the moment you start introducing additional variables where it's significantly imbalanced in terms of what you value versus what they value, suddenly it's no longer zero sum, and you can actually have a positive sum negotiation where introducing a new factor benefits them and benefits you. So I think a lot of negotiations fail simply because of a lack of creativity, where people are only thinking of the money involved and they aren't introducing factors such as time or people or expertise, knowledge, right? Advice. Like if someone's investing in your company, maybe one of the terms you can add to the negotiation is that you want to be able to consult with them once a week or once a month for advice on certain aspects of the business that you want to grow or improve on, where they have expertise and you don't. And the funny thing is that actually seems like it might be a benefit to you and a detriment to them. But from their perspective, despite it costing them time, they might actually view that as a benefit to them as well, because they're investing in the business. It will do better with their advice, and it shows that you value their input and their expertise, rather than only seeing them as a walking ATM, which is how many investors end up feeling. And so, funnily enough, they might actually be even more interested in the deal when you ask something of them that they see is good for the business and potentially even good for them. And they might even enjoy, right, being involved intellectually in that way, in an advisory capacity. Another thing you could do is like offer them extra board seats or voting rights or extra input, right? Or maybe offer to allow them to bring in some of their people to work in the company to help improve it, right? Like these are things they might not consider. But by you being creative on their behalf, you might be able to get a much better deal financially because you're introducing these additional items that they could value more than money, right? So they might be willing to invest even more money because you're offering them these things. And they might not think about it because they're not used to founders offering these terms. And once you start being creative in this way, you also begin to realize that there are so many more factors you can bring into a negotiation than just the common ones that are tabled on a contract. Because the reality is almost anything you can think of, you can negotiate over, right? It could be anything from the kind of work someone does to how they allocate resources to expertise, like I mentioned, but also it could be like things such as creating options for certain exits or flexibility around certain things, which could then give them more space to make a decision in the future or put off a decision for the future, right? It's kind of like the way stock options have inherent value because people have the option to buy or sell a certain stock until a certain time. And by giving someone the option of something, you can mitigate their risk, which means they're willing to pay a higher price up front, right? You can offer guarantees of a certain kind within the negotiation. I think all of this is really interesting because most people leave negotiations not having really fulfilled their potential, and they left a lot on the table for both parties. And that's just unfortunate for everyone involved because everyone involved could have walked away with a better deal. So I think as you learn to negotiate better and be more creative with negotiations, you build longer term trust, you end up in partnerships rather than adversarial relationships. People walk away from the table happy with the deal, both sides, right? That's a winning deal in my opinion, when both sides walk away believing they've won in a sense or they're happy with the deal. And ultimately you become better and better at creating deals that other people would look at and be like, wow, I never thought of that, but that's an amazing deal.